I knew the waiting room would be empty before I even stepped inside, but the sight still landed like a punch. My son's name glowed on the surgery board, a calm blue, in progress, and every chair that should have held my family sat cold, silent, just rows of plastic and absence. I didn't break. I didn't call. I just stood there, hands in my pockets, letting the truth settle deep enough to never crawl back out again. 3 hours later, when the surgeon told me my son was stable, I nodded, thanked him, and walked past the volunteer desk without a single glance behind me. No one came, and that was the moment something in me shifted. Cleanly, quietly, permanently. People like to pretend betrayal is an explosion, loud, messy, unforgettable. Mine was a slow drip, a leak I kept patching because I believed family meant something. I used to admire my mother's voice, sharp, decisive, unwavering. Growing up, I mistook it for strength, a woman who held the family together with iron hands. I thought I inherited that from her. And my sister, God, I used to think she was light, always taking, always asking, always needing. Yet somehow I convinced myself it was love. When I got married young, Mom approved because she liked how responsible I was. "You'll be the one keeping everyone afloat," she told me once. Back then, it sounded like a compliment. I didn't realize it was a sentence. The first crack appeared after my son was born. Mom came to the hospital with a camera but no intention of holding the baby. My sister took a picture with him, posted it, tagged me, and left 15 minutes later. "Busy week," she said. It was a Sunday. After that, the favors increased. "Can you transfer? Can you cover? Can you handle?" And every time I said yes, the gratitude thinned. Entitlement replaced it quietly, naturally, like mold in corners you don't check. I didn't notice the full rot until the surgery. The night before, I'd texted the family group chat, "He goes in at 7 a.m. If you can't come, at least send a message so I know." They saw it. No replies. No calls. Just red receipts glowing like little betrayals. But I still held out hope. Idiot that I was. 3 days after the surgery, while my son slept on my chest, an alert buzzed on my phone. "Mom." As if the universe wanted to carve the moment into memory, the message came in one clean line. "Need $10,000 for your sister's wedding dress.
Urgent.
No, how's the baby? No, how did the surgery go?" Just a demand packaged as entitlement. I stared at it for a full minute, feeling absolutely nothing. The numbness wasn't shock. Shock requires care. This was clarity. Frozen, perfect clarity. I sent exactly $1. Memo, buy a veil. Then I opened my banking app and removed every authorized user. Mom, sister, even my aunt, who somehow had access through Mom's "it's just in case of emergencies" request. I changed every password, locked every credit line, closed the shared emergency fund I'd been stupid enough to maintain for family needs. And when I pressed the final confirmation, something inside me clicked back into place. Not broken, aligned. The next morning, just after sunrise, my phone rang. Unknown number. Years of dealing with debt collectors for my family taught me to ignore calls like that, but something in me wanted to hear this one. "Good morning," a steady voice said. "This is Marco, the branch manager at Redwood Bank. I'm calling regarding a series of declined transactions on accounts connected to your family members. They contacted us and insisted there must be a mistake." "No mistake," I said. He hesitated. They seemed upset. I pictured them standing at the bank, voices raised, pretending innocence. I almost smiled. "I'm sure they are," I said. "But those accounts are mine. Access was a privilege, not a right." Marco exhaled softly, neutral, professional, but with an undertone I recognized. Respect. "Understood. I'll document that the changes were intentional." "Please do." I hung up and let the silence settle. Mom called next. Then my sister. Missed calls stacked like dominoes. I didn't pick up. I didn't need to. The messages came in bursts. Accusations, guilt trips, emotional blackmail rehearsed from years of practice. "How could you do this to family? Your sister is devastated. This is selfish. We needed you. Needed." Not loved. Not thanked. Needed like an ATM with a pulse. That was the final confirmation, really. Their outrage wasn't about being cut off emotionally, just financially. So I waited until nightfall, then finally typed a single response in the group chat. You weren't there for my son's surgery. Don't ever ask me for anything again. Access revoked. Permanently. Then I muted the thread. Silence never sounded so clean. Weeks passed. My son healed. I healed alongside him. They eventually stopped calling. I didn't chase them. I didn't explain myself further. Justice doesn't require an audience. People think revenge is loud. Mine wasn't. It was a door closing without a slam. A lock clicking. A boundary drawn so sharply it cut the past in half. Now, when I look back at the empty chairs in that waiting room, I don't feel pain. I feel clarity. Family isn't who shares your blood. Family is who shows up when the world fractures around you. And the day no one showed up for my son's surgery, they told me everything I needed to know. I just finally listened and acted.